Hi everyone, I'm Dave and I want to show you how to pass your rough-in plumbing inspection when you're putting in new plumbing at your house. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm just a regular homeowner, but I've done it 2 times in my life, passed twice, and so I thought maybe this would be helpful because when I go looking for information on YouTube, I have to watch so many. This is going to be one quick video with lots of information. Okay, so some things you need to know about plumbing. In the first place, PEX. PEX is what makes plumbers out of all of us. These PEX lines are crimped together, and you can buy a crimper at Lowe's or Home Depot for, say, 80 bucks. And then PEX is nice and cheap. And some people say, are you afraid of PEX? But basically, everything you buy at the grocery store that's made out of a plastic container, if you buy yogurt or cottage cheese or whatever, it's probably coming in the same kind of plastic that this is in. So we're pretty comfortable with PEX plastic. The beauty of PEX is when it freezes, it doesn't necessarily break. It can break. Copper always splits, but PEX can blow up like a balloon before it breaks, and that's so wonderful. So we use all of these crimp fittings, nice and simple, and we use PEX on all of our supply lines. Of course, they're 1/2-inch supply lines when they get close to the fixture, in this case the sink, and when you get under the floor, the main lines are 3/4 of an inch, and once again, it's all PEX here where we live. For the drain lines, here are some important things to know. You want your drain for the sink, for example, to be about 18 inches off the finished floor. And you want your supply lines inside your bathroom vanity to be about 21 inches off the finished floor. So those are the heights you're looking for. You're going to stub out with a 1.5-inch PVC pipe. And of course, this tilts back a little bit and gets into the wall. Now, there's not just one way to do plumbing, of course, but here are a couple things to know. You can never just put a T here, a horizontal T on its back, as they say. It has to be a Y, or you can use a combination TY, but never take a T. By the way, this is a T. You never take a T like that and just put it horizontally. You're not allowed to do that. You won't pass. So when you're vertical, you use T's. When you're horizontal, you use Y's or combination TY's, and that's what it takes to pass. Don't put a T on its back just because it looks like it lines up nice. You can't do that. This is a combination TY, and you can see it's a little bit like a Y, but it also comes 90 degrees and not 45. So imagine this is the Y, and then you have a T elbow to make it a full 90 degrees. All right, so we tend to make these horizontal lines 1.5 inches. Then it's going to go to the stack. You got to get it to the stack to vent. And every fixture, your sink, your bathtub, and your toilet, they all need to have venting. Otherwise, it's like putting your finger over the top of a straw. Nothing will come out. You have to give it air for the straw to evacuate the liquid. So we vent everything. And the idea of the vent is, in this case, we have, as you can imagine right here, this is our medicine cabinet and mirror. So we couldn't just vent straight up to the ceiling. We have to get around the medicine cabinet. So we moved to the nearest stud cavity, and now we went up. You have to go up. Our sink is about this high, and you have to go up 6 inches higher than the flooding sink. So if your sink was overflowing, you have to be 6 inches higher than that. Well, we came up much more than 6 inches. We got up here about as tall as I am. And once again, then we vent to the stack. And the stack is going to be like a chimney exiting your rooftop. So the sink is going to vent here. And then the same thing had to happen with our toilet. Now the toilet has an elbow under here. It's called a closet elbow. So an elbow, and it's going to get us to this stack. And then the stack goes down to catch the main drain line out to the street. And the stack goes up to vent us through the rooftop. And the toilet flange then is right directly in front of the stack. You don't have to put the toilet directly in front of the stack, but it makes things simple and beautiful. So, but you've got to vent the toilet, you've got to vent the sink, you've got to vent the bathtub. You can see that the Horizontal vent lines are on a little bit of a slope, and they have to slope back so that if rain came in or whatever bad things might have happened, it will slope into the drain and everything will be fine. The vent slopes toward the drain it serves. So here's the stack. Air is coming here and it's sloping toward the drain it serves, and that's the idea with the venting. Same thing with the venting that comes from the bathtub drain here. So we're going to show you the other side of the bathtub drain in just a minute, but we are sloping toward the drain we serve on these horizontals. And we didn't want this stack to go straight up through the roof here because you could see that from the street. This is the front of our house, and it's considered poor craftsmanship to just poke a vent stack right up through the front of the house so you can see it from the street. So what we did is we took the vent far away. We connected it here and we went all the way across our attic. And you can see we went all the way to the end of our house, close to the gable, and then we turned right. And this is all sloping, but we turned right and we exited the roof on the other side of our house. So when you're at the street, you can't see that vent stack. And you're allowed, it's an air stack, you're allowed to take it every direction you want to, as long as you maintain a slope. And that's what we did to get it out of sight. And under the house, you can imagine that we have a main sewer line that's taking everything to the street. So our sink goes down and connects to that, our bathtub goes down and connects to that, and then we make it to the street. So that's how you pass rough-in plumbing. But remember this, what you're gonna hate is they want you to pressurize the PEX lines with a special hydrostatic pump. In our case, we had to pressurize them to 200 pounds per inch, PSI. And the city only comes in at 80, so that was kind of scary to pump those lines up so full of water at 200 PSI. But PEX can handle it, and so do the cutoffs. The cutoffs can handle it. And we had to rent that, and so hopefully you can rent that in your area if you have to do that. And you can use PEX fittings to connect that pump to your house. And so you have to pump it up, and it has to hold, and then the PVC lines, you're going to fill your bathtub all the way full to overflowing, and then hope that all your PVC maintains. This toilet flange, remember this, when you're screwing your toilet flange down, some people say they want the toilet flange to be set on top of the finished floor. Now you can do that if you want, but I've had too many teetering toilets in my life, and I now set the flange almost the same level as the finished floor. You also have to fill every single hole in the toilet flange with a screw, or the inspector's not going to like that. And don't use the black multi-purpose screws like for drywall. You have to use corrosion-resistant screws, or the inspector might ding you on that. This is a plug that can be purchased, but you don't want to do this. I had to do this because I kind of made a mistake. But this is a plug that had to be purchased because obviously water seeks its own level. And when we filled the bathtub all the way full of water, it would have come out of here like a fountain. And so we had to use this plug to plug up our toilet flange because we have, 2 feet of water in the bathtub and it would come gushing out. So plan ahead when you fill up your bathtub for inspection. You have to have your toilet flange plugged. So plan ahead. There is a toilet flange you can buy that already has a plug in it, and when you pass inspection you knock out the plug. So you can do that if you want to, and we ended up doing something else. So that's how you pass plumbing inspection. Thanks for being with us.